Welcome to the Football Show on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Peter Martin, Alan Ruff, Darren Jackson and of course Tam McManus here with me today, and here's what we're going to talk about on the show.
Philippe Clement bemoans the handball rule after his side were penalised in the 2-1 win over Kilmarnock in midweek.
It's not good for the game that they run around like penguins.
Brendan Rodgers reveals Callum McGregor could miss Celtic's clash with Hearts after the skipper pulled up against Dundee. Stuart Kettlewell has warned Motherwell must follow their plan to halt the aggressive Rangers attack in a bid to bank points.
They were good last week, so if we face them and they hit that type of form and they get off to that type of start, then it's going to be a real difficult game.
And Stephen Naismith claims Hearts will be facing the best team when second place Celtic visit Tynecastle on Sunday.
I think there's elements of their game that they're best. Their pressing and how aggressive they are with their press is what I said they was the best team in the league.
Well, everybody's got their opinion, and we've got a title race on at the top, and at the bottom clubs are starting to take points. Who do you think is going to be in the relegation, second place at the bottom in the playoffs, and what about the top end of the table? Who's going to be winning that title? We'll be talking about that. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel, and if you download the app, you'll get all the breaking football stories at your fingertips. And of course, breaking news always catches our attention, Ruffy, and we're hearing that Mark Lawwell, it looks as if he has resigned from his position at Celtic. So clearly there are changes as far as the head of recruitment is concerned. Has he paid the price for maybe the growing criticism of some of the players that haven't really produced?
Most definitely. I think the biggest criticism for the Celtic supporters has been the signing policy. I don't think they can get their head round how hard it is to bring a player in. So, it'll be interesting to see, what he comes out with and his reasons. We're not privy to what's happening behind the scenes, but certainly there must be some movement going on at the club.
Yeah, that will be a difficult one for the chairman to actually accept.
Yeah, of course it will. Obviously it's his son and they've got a close relationship at Celtic, but I think you hit the nail on the head. It's, the Celtic recruitment in the summer and January has not been good enough, and the results are showing that. They're second in the table when they haven't been second for a long time, so I think he's paid the price for the players that they've signed, not coming in and hitting the ground running, and the criticism from the supporters. So I don't think the Bullet Celtic supporters will shed a tear at that. I think they'll be quite happy with that news, to be honest.
Yeah, although the ultimate criticism that will come Celtic's way is if they lose the title, people will start to redirect their anger primarily, I think, at the board, and then obviously the manager has to carry the can. I think that's the real what's at stake coming up in the summer.
Yeah, well, listen, we all knew how big it was for the team to win the league this season. I think 60 million going into the new Champions League setup. That money is massive, particularly for Rangers who are lagging behind in the financial stakes to Celtic. So if Rangers going to win the league this season, and they're probably slight favourites to go and do that now, then yes, the fingers will be pointed at Mark Lawwell, but I think they'll be pointed higher up to the board for maybe not giving him the money or the manager the money to go and spend.
Yeah, Joe Dudgeon as well, Celtic's lead first team scout, we're led to believe, who was also in the City group last year, who joined them. He's set to resign his position as well. So that's the big news coming out of Celtic. You can give us your thoughts on that as well, because quite simply, Darren, the long and the short of it is, second is nowhere in this country. That's just the madness of it, and we've got a title race on.
Yeah, but it's true. It isn't good enough, and Tam's right. I think Rangers are slight favourites just now. And listen, everyone always gets judged on recruitment, and I think when Carter Vickers and Alistair Johnstone have been out, they've struggled. There's no, I don't think there's a lot of confidence at the back. I think the midfield must feel it, that they're not really secure. And that's, I'm not being unfair to the boys that have come in, but I think they need better quality to come in when he's such a big player, Carter Vickers.
Yeah.
And again, Alistair Johnstone. So middle to front, I think it's been okay. I don't think the boy Kuhn looks up to it just now. You need people to have given time, but I don't think he looks up to it just now, especially when you look at it, how well Abada did.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that he should play every week, but he's performed in the big games. And that's what you've got to judge them on in the big games and the Rangers games in Europe. It's not been good enough. I think everybody knows that. It's no rocket science.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, lots of things that we've got to talk about, including, of course, looking ahead to the weekend. You can give us your thoughts on it as well. One of the things that I enjoyed from the midweek games, Ruffy, was obviously I love an Edinburgh Derby, but there's a real threat to fans getting into games, especially the Old Firm fans, getting their allocation cut. I mean, Stevie Naismith warned in midweek if they keep throwing things, if there's flares, pyrotechnics, then suddenly they might cut the allocation of fans. I cannot quite work out the madness of Scottish football to actually kick itself, at times when it really should be promoting both sets of fans coming into a ground.
Yeah, again, it's a minority. It's causing all this problems at that stand. I think it maybe 4,000 or 5,000 people in it, and the missiles that were coming on were probably thrown on by maybe 5 or 6 people. So the most important thing is the CCTV uses what it's there for, to identify these people and bring them out and ban them. That's the only way to stop it.
Who throws AirPods? A pair of AirPods on.
know.
Do you know what I mean? Madness. You know what I
With plenty of money.
Well, someone would.
No.
But
It could be the £25 cheap ones, to be honest with you. If it was me, I'd have run onto the park. If it was the expensive ones, I'd have been right after them. But you're right. I mean, another thing about it, and this is where I looked at Lawrence Shanklin in midweek, Ruffy. Now, not only did he catch the pie, he took a bite out of it, and I'm thinking, are you mad? Are you mad? Do you know where that?
Out right away.
Well, I know. I was thinking to myself.
You have to give him enormous credit for the way he handled it. The whole situation.
He would have caught
taking a penalty kick. I caught one at time. That's he splattered all over me. Stupidly. Went through it quite high up, remember?
Yeah.
And the boy said he'd catch this. I didn't know. I expected a ball or something, but it was a pie. And I natural reaction, stuck my hand up and caught it, but it just
splattered everywhere. Yeah.
But no, I'm saying he's taking a penalty kick.
Yeah.
The Derby game and all that's going on, and he stood there, and it just never affected him. And all credit to him, because I think was there a knife thrown on as well?
It was a corkscrew. Yeah, it's a corkscrew. I mean, to be honest with you, I think Nick Montgomery was right to point it out as well. It's a mindless minority of thugs and hooligans who basically think it's a good idea to throw a corkscrew. We laugh at the pie. But still throwing things, and at times the game was halted for it as well. And I couldn't think of a better person to be sitting here, Tam, for the noise up, because when he did score the penalty, he went over to the Hibs fans and just put his arm out.
Peter, that's the banter you've got to take.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all for that.
Fans giving it out. He stood there. I think we would all do it. Do you know what I mean? That's the excitement of a game, that when you're getting abuse from the fans, you just want to score so you can give a little bit back. But it's not allowed. The player's not allowed to do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's okay for the fans at times to say what they want.
Yeah.
But it's not for a player to run and celebrate in front.
With all due respect, though, I sometimes pick you up if I feel as if you've said something that's inaccurate. So we would do it. Ruffy's a coward. He would not do it. Tom, you would do it. I would do it for a fight.
I got the pole behind the goal.
Exactly. If there's a noise up to be had, all three of us would be there, but not you. You'd be like...
If somebody come on the park, they'd have to catch me.
That was the same. I'll start it, and then I'm off.
Exactly.
Maybe the stuff that get thrown in the park were coins.
Yeah, still
Coins in
dangerous.
The 4 Derby games. The ball boys used to all fight with each other to see who could get behind whatever goal, because at the end of the day they're going to maybe earn a £5 and a tenner with all the coins that come on.
No shillings in it, though.
But the thing is, the Tynecastle's too close to the goal.
You can actually reach over. It's so tight, isn't it?
You don't like that?
Oh, it didn't mind me as a player, but if you're going to missiles are going to come on, that's what is going to happen in a tight environment.
The one thing that was missing, Ruffy, and again, I understand the financial implications for every club, but the one thing that was missing was a police presence to go in and say, right, let's get in amongst you. If you want to throw things, I'm hauling you out, you're going to be arrested. If you break the law anywhere, at any event, you're arrested. So there's a mindless minority who want to throw things and threaten people's safety. get them arrested. But it was just stewards there, and there is not enough money for stewards to even huckle anybody or point them out. They're under enough pressure. So I spotted that, and I thought to myself, they're just not going to stop. Almost ruins it. You don't want to see fans being banned for these situations. But here's the fixtures we've got to look forward to for the weekend, and it really is hotting up top and bottom. Dundee against Kilmarnock, Hibs against Ross County, Rangers, Motherwell, St Johnstone, Livingston, St Mirren, Aberdeen, and Hearts against Celtic. So undoubtedly, game of the weekend, Hearts against Celtic, Tynecastle. Boy, did Celtic come back to real form against Dundee, Ruffy.
Yeah, I think most of the Dundee players would have preferred to have stayed in the bus that broke down a mile before the because I don't think they expected that. I don't think we expected it either. But in any given day, when Celtic click, they click. And if your defence isn't up to scratch, then you're going to lose goals. And I have to say, most of the goals were pretty well taken, well worked out. And that would just give Celtic that wee emphasis now to kick on for the split coming, because they know now they're in a title race, and if they get results like that, then good for them.
Yeah, the manager's keen to point out that his system is not too different from Ange Postecoglou's. If it's a similar system, the players are not really embracing it and showing it on a regular basis.
Well, he went to the two up front in a couple of games and he'd mixed results, I thought. He's back to the 4-3-3, with Ida playing through the middle and the two wide men, which I think suits Celtic better. And they've got a physical presence up there with Ida. They can get the ball into him, they can run off him. Somebody that's going to hold the ball up, totally different player from Kyogo, who just wants to run in behind. So I think he's been a good signing for them, Ida. I think that he offers something different, and I think he's got good quality as well. So I didn't see that result coming, to be honest. I think Celtic have been struggling in recent weeks to really create a lot of chances and score goals. So Dundee, I watched the game the previous week against Hibs, and you were at the game.
Yeah.
They're pretty open, Dundee. I mean, Hibs created a lot of chances that day. It was 2-1, and it could have been 4 or 5. Hibs created a lot of chances, so I fear
no real goal threat.
They've not really got a goal threat, Dundee, and they're trying to play expansive football, which is fair enough. But as we were talking about before the show, 6-0 down at half time at Parkhead. What does Tony Docherty and Stuart Taylor say to the boys? Just try and win the second half, or I don't know. Don't bother getting back out. But listen, they get away with 7-1, which I think they'd have taken at half time.
Yeah, listen, Darren, at times I think we in the media, and I include all across the quarters, will at times be critical if teams are not playing well. So they deserve full credit because they came back with all guns blazing, Celtic.
Without doubt. I mean, the first half against Motherwell, they were poor. But the second half, and Tam's right, Brendan's gone, he's tried a different formation. He's tried with the two strikers. The way I look at it, no one plays two strikers now, so they don't understand to play in relation to each other.
Yeah.
One long, one short. Tam and I played as strikers, and we played as a two. So where's your teammate, where's your strike partner? You know that nowadays they don't, because they're just been used to playing in a one.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to, people will say, Celtic quite right at home, go and play two, or even away from it, go and play two up front. But it's not that simple, because, as I say, in relation to each other, they're trying to work it out.
Yeah, I've got somebody here in my head that I think here, as if I've written it down, that's your best strike partner. I was speaking to him the other day there.
Keith Wright.
Wow, you're a lucky boy, by the way. You are a lucky boy. Is Keith Wright your best partner?
Well, Keith was my best partner because we were 5 years together.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, I played with Henrik. Do you know what I mean? But not a lot. In training.
Yeah.
But Keith for 5 years, yeah, we just had an understanding. Keith liked being the 9, I liked being the 10, coming off the game and all that. And so, but people don't have that now. But to be fair to Brendan, he's tried it. It's maybe not worked. And Kyogo just seems to be off it a bit just now. And there was two great goals.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one's a great header. And the second one, it's come across. You're thinking he's going to play it with his right, but he's left. So, and that's given them confidence. But the game against Dundee, again, I think we've all been there. See when it goes 3-2, Dundee players' tactics, they just become individuals.
Yes.
They end up just kicking.
Your brain's
forward
fried,
hard,
isn't it? It's
and
just
it becomes waves of attack.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's not. It's hard to not criticise them, because when you get beat 7, you've got to be criticised. But you just go into a shell.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It is just individuals then.
Yeah. Who was your best partner? Was it Mixu?
Probably either Mixu or Craig Brewster.
Yeah. Two guys that could hold the ball, great touch as well.
Mixu was just a big, more a batter ram. Brewster was a clever footballer.
Yeah.
And I think he signed for Hibs when he was 35 or something, 36 from Greece.
But I think Brewster's a wee bit like Lorne Shankland's. They've become real good players later on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Younger, they were good players, and they always had ability. Lawrence has always scored goals.
Yes.
He's always been a goal scorer. Craig always had ability, but later on in their career, they've become real.
I'm looking at the one player that Celtic really rely on heavily in that middle of the park, and he might be out for this game, Ruffy. Callum McGregor. Brendan Rodgers, this is what he had to say on Callum's injury. He felt his Achilles and his calf. I know from speaking to him that at this time of year he normally does feel it a bit. He normally does feel it because he obviously plays so much. We just have to assess that and see where he is over the next 24 hours.
I was just saying to him, I've been Parkhead training him for 24 hours. I don't think they'll let him out. You know, he'll be there.
He'll be in one of the moon boots, with ice packed in it.
All the expert treatment they can give him, because it'll be a big reaction, because I can't remember the last time he ever played. So it'll be really interesting to see a Celtic team without him in it and how they cover for it.
Yeah, Hearts against Celtic. Hearts, I watched them in the Derby. I was there at Tynecastle. Certainly I had that feeling that Hibs deserved maybe more than they got. It wasn't quite the Hearts that's been on that unbeaten run, Tam. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think that's fair, Peter. I think that Hibs started well. I think in a Derby game, if you're going away from home and you start well, you get a wee foothold in the game, and Hibs obviously get the opening goal. There's a couple of chances before that through Martin Boyle, and the penalty's a big decision. You know, I don't think it's a penalty kick. I think VAR gave him an opportunity to maybe right the wrong.
Yeah.
He went over, and I was stunned when he went over at the monitor. I was shocked when he stuck with his decision. Fair enough, but I thought he made a meal of it, Peter. It's not a penalty kick, and that's ultimately got Hearts a point. But I thought Hibs were really impressive from midfield to front.
Yeah.
I thought Marcondes was, first half he was tremendous. Tired a wee bit in the second half. Mailida, Vente, Boyle, starting to click a wee bit. Hibs, they need to start putting chances away, Peter. I watched them against Dundee and against Hearts, and they've created a dozen good chances.
They need a back
3 goals.
They need a back 4.
They defended okay, Peter, in the Derby. I thought they were pretty solid. I thought Bashiri played pretty well.
Yeah, still need a back 4. I still think they need to go and sort it out. Sort that out and don't lose games.
Do you think they need a whole new back 4?
Well,
the boy Abita's a good player left back.
The boy Abita has
the one. It was a standing joke. When I was an agent, I looked after Lewis Stevenson, and they've signed left backs, and I just take that's another one.
Yeah.
That's another one. But this boy's coming in.
He's excellent.
I think he's done well.
The biggest problem.
Will Fish is a good player.
But Will Fish needs to be told, is there any chance you can pass the ball forward?
I know, but
he just keeps playing the ball back to the goalkeeper.
I think he's a
good player.
Yeah, I wish he would play it forward. Actually, at one point in the press box, Darren, I sat there and I thought, I think I could play number 5 for Hibs. He hasn't played the ball forward once, and then he launched one. And I thought to myself, they need to be more. They need to be more solid.
He breaks out. He does break out, and he plays a great diagonals and all that in games.
I'd love to see them with 2 people who can take the ball off the centre halves. Joe Newell does it so well. I'm a big fan of Joe Newell. But in saying that, as far as Hearts are concerned, can they cause an upset? Stevie Naismith thinks they're playing against the best team in the league.
We're at the Orion this afternoon, speaking to Stephen Naismith as his side are preparing to take on Celtic. As his side, they defeated 2-0 back in December at Celtic Park. But Stephen Naismith believes it's a completely different Celtic side they will take on Sunday afternoon.
Oh, they're definitely in a better place than they were then. I think at that point you could tell from the reaction in the stadium and their run of form. But the thing for Celtic is they're still in a title race. They've still got the amount of games to go and be successful. They're still in a cup competition, so we know it'll be a tough game.
Despite sitting in second place in the league, Stephen Naismith still believes that this Celtic side holds some qualities of their game that makes them the best side in the league.
I think there's elements of their game that they're best. Their pressing and how aggressive they are with their press is what I said was the best team in the league. I think this season, with it being the title race, has been really close. Both squads have got really good players, but it comes down to that mental capacity. Are you willing and able to deal with that pressure?
Will it be Celtic or will it be Hearts that take the bragging rights at Tynecastle Park on Sunday afternoon? It kicks off at 12 p.m, and PRZ Soccer will be there live, keeping you up to date.
Yeah, well, I do. Patrick Mullen there giving us an insight into the Hearts camp. Okay, prediction, Ruffy?
I'm going to go Celtic to win 2-0.
Go Celtic 2-1.
2-1 for me.
2-1 Celtic.
Okay, let's get on to Rangers, because as ever, I know there are some people who don't like him, but I'm a huge James Tavernier fan. and
Let's not go there.
And it's just, I'd hate to be in a situation where, I was negative about him, but I do like James Tavernier, as I've pointed out on several occasions, because quite simply, he scores not only a lot of goals, but he scores big goals, and boy, that free kick was a big one in midweek.
That was a big goal, Peter. I think Rangers were under pressure at the time. Butland did a great save to stop it going 2-0. He steps up, 25, 30 yards out. You always fancy him to test the goalkeeper. He's got great technique. He always gets the ball up and over. Goalkeeper, for me, suspect. I think he gets a hand to it, and it doesn't. It's not a strong hand. Ruffy will be able to comment on that more than me, but a great free kick. And at a time where Rangers were looking for inspiration from someone, it comes up for the captain, and then they get the goal straight away, for 2-1, and then they go and win the game. So that was a massive result for Rangers. Kilmarnock have been playing really, really well. They've only lost, I think, twice at home this season before that game. They're really strong at Rugby Park, and to go 1-0 down, a lot of Rangers fans might have doubted their capacity to come back, but get the 3 points, and they've got a great opportunity to take it to 5 again before Celtic play on Sunday.
Yeah, 121 goals. From a fullback. We were debating over his place in the list of Rangers captains, but in the modern day, Dan, can you imagine having a fullback who scored 121 goals?
Yeah, listen, it's breathtaking, really. It is breathtaking, but if you're looking the other side, he's a defender, and he's been there 7 years and he's won 1 title. So I'm looking for a good defender in my back four.
Yeah.
See, he's got his free kicks, his delivery into the box, his passing is excellent. And I'm not saying he's a bad defender, but I'm still looking.
Are you a Scottish person? This is the argument we've been having. Excuse me. Are you a Scottish person who operates in that psychology of, let's highlight the negative part rather than focus on the positives?
No, I'm not. But I'm just.
I know you've mentioned the positives, but should we be?
I know, but I'm just saying he's been there 7 years, and Rangers are expected to win the league every year.
Yeah.
Celtic are.
But my point on James Tavernier, Ruffy, is this. This is my point with Rangers right now, and the difference between them when Lawrence scores the goal. When Lawrence scores the goal, the Rangers fans go mental, because there is a sense from the stands that the goal's coming. There is a sense from them now, a confidence in the team. Now, I've had an argument with a lot of the staff in here, and I've said, wait a minute, James Tavernier, if you're looking for people to blame the 6 or 7 duds who played alongside him. He played in teams which weren't really up to it. It's not his fault. He still scored goals. He scored goals when he was playing in a poor Rangers side. It's not his fault. I look at him and I think, just concentrate on the positives. This is a guy who, going forward, delivery, Darren's mentioned it, goals, big games. That one there, Kilmarnock were 1-0 up at half-time, and they had 2 chances, by the way, 2 absolute belter chances, didn't they?
But in our league, I would say the majority of the games that Tavernier plays with Rangers, he doesn't have to defend. They're never under pressure. They're never backs to the wall. He's always on the front foot, and he's more of a wing back than a full back in Scottish football.
Yeah.
I think the criticism people have a go at him is when he goes into European football, and then they have a winger, designated to stop him going forward.
Yeah.
And that curtails him a wee bit going back, and that might be a criticism, but I think the scoring the goals, and as Darren said, the assists, really take over for all that.
Yeah.
I think the amount of goals he scored, and that goal in particular, Tam was asking me, that goalkeeper does not see the ball until it comes out of that ball. So he's not seen it all. That's why there's a delayed reaction, and that's why you could see the goalkeeper was annoyed because he got a good hand to it. But when the wall,
he should see it, but when he hits it, he should have a clear view, should he not?
He can't, because he's at the other side of the wall. What he's doing is he's protecting that wall. The boy at the end of the wall stands like a statue anyway. He doesn't even jump. But he's where he's positioning himself is not behind the wall.
Yeah, is he?
You can't see the ball. You can't see the ball.
Is his positioning bad? I thought he was too far over to the right.
No, because if he goes anywhere nearer, he's right behind the wall.
Yeah.
All you can see is leg. You can't see the ball until it comes over the top.
Yeah. I mean, I also as well, when I look back on it, in '78, you know, the guy's played the ball with the outside of his boot, the Cuban, you know, boy, you know, Cubias, for Peru. I mean, he's got a full wall that's there.
You see that one, Ruffy, no?
He's played that with the outside of his boot. Pass, Ruffy. I'm saying to myself, move over. You can't get beaten with the outside of your boot.
Well, my reaction to that was, why did Lou Macari and Stuart Kennedy duck? You know, and why are the two smallest players on the park at the end of the wall?
And by the way, can I just say, and I've got to mention this, right? We're playing. No.
That goal. When he hits it with the outside of his foot, I knew it was going in, and my first reaction was just dive.
And that brings me nicely to the point I'm about to make. I kid you not, this is the God's honest truth. We're playing doubles at tennis, and the boy lobs a ball. I mean, it's so obvious the shot. He just looked at me and he thought, I'm not going to bother going for that. And I thought to myself, is that your Zico style of play at tennis as well? If it's not worth going for, I'm just going to look at it and marvel at the shot.
What's the point of going for it when you're not going to get it?
There you are. Adam
Fair
Binney,
point.
Yeah, exactly. Adam Binney was out at the Rangers training centre to talk to the Rangers manager.
Rangers host Motherwell at Ibrox Stadium tomorrow as the Light Blues look to maintain their position at the top of the Scottish Premiership, just as they did on Wednesday night against Kilmarnock. In that match, manager Philippe Clement believes that his side were denied 2 penalty kicks towards the end of the game, prompting him to question the clarity of IFAB's handball rule.
I don't think it's good for the game if all the players start running around in the 30 or in the 60 meters with all their hands on their back, what you see already now. But even then, when your arm is like that, it's sometimes handball. So like this, you cannot defend, you cannot turn. It's not good for the game that they run around like penguins in the 60 meters.
Half-time substitute Ridvan Yilmaz was a standout in the match, with manager Philippe Clement noting massive improvements both on and off the pitch.
So he made a really good integration into the squad last couple of months. I don't think it was 6 months ago the case, all of those things. So credit to him. He's a fighter, and we need fighters. And then I don't mind how big they are in centimeters.
Yeah, okay. It's a Rangers side that have that sense that the title is there for the taking. They're in the box seat. We haven't had a chance to speak to you for quite a bit on this, Dan. So what's your take now with Rangers at the top of the table?
Well, as you say, they've put themselves in a fantastic position. I think they've got a manager now who's obviously tactically very good. But it looks like discipline's a big thing with him. And Cantwell a couple of times has been taken off and when he's not doing right, and he looks as though he's got listen, they're fully confident just now. Everyone thinks, and we would probably all think, going to Kilmarnock playing well, Astro, it's a hard game. Coming away from that, they must be delighted with that result. And he's got a squad. He's brought a couple of players in. When we're talking about Celtic's recruitment, they brought a couple of players in who have kicked on right away and scored a couple of goals. And listen, as I say, they're playing with confidence, and they're looking very good just now.
Yeah. As far as the opponents at the weekend, Motherwell, Kerry Pollock was out there to find out what Stuart Kettlewell had to say.
The Steelmen find themselves within touching distance of a place in the top 6. And after a victory over Livingston on Wednesday night, Stuart Kettlewell says his side are eager to pick up 3 points no matter where they play.
I think we spoke about it so often that, we're desperate to win 3 points and we're desperate to piece together a win. But see if you do that from not playing well and you do that from being a mile off it in games and not being competitive, I think, I literally in one hand I can tell you the number of games that I feel that we've been second best. But I think that so often we're so competitive and the margins are so fine.
This weekend's opponents sit at the opposite end of the league table. A trip to Ibrox is on the cards for the Fir Park outfit, and the manager believes that his side will have to be at their very best if they're going to cause the league leaders any problems.
Watching them playing against what's been a strong Hearts side and a Hearts side that's been in such a good run of form, they were good last week. So if we face them and they hit that type of form and they get off to that type of start, then it's going to be a real difficult game. But we have to try and come up with a plan to see if we can write our own narrative in the game and make it really difficult for them. But as well as that, carry the threat that we've had in the front foot.
Can Motherwell cause an upset at Ibrox, or will Rangers make it 9 league wins in a row? Kick-off is at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, big question. Motherwell played well against Livingston. For me, I thought Spittle was a standout.
He has been for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Obviously, we had a bit of Partick Thistle. Ross County stole him from us. And
a WhatsApp group? What was it?
Tapped him up? Did they tap him up, Ruffy?
And ever since then, I think we had Stephen on, Robertson, then saying he can't believe why a lot of teams like Hibs and Hearts are buying foreign players when you've got somebody like Blair Spittle.
Yeah.
You've got a homegrown player who's played in the league, his delivery into the box is absolutely superb. The goals he scores, he's got an engine as well. So I think I don't know what kind of contract he's on at Motherwell, but I certainly think
it's up at the end of the season, isn't it?
Yeah, you like him, don't you?
Listen, we had him at Dundee United, and I think Spitz should have done better. Because with the ability he's got, I think he's one of the easily the best finishers with his side foot that I worked with. Incredible. And we're talking about Tavernier's delivery, Spitz's delivery is unbelievable as well. But I think, and people mature. We've talking about Brewster, we've talking about people mature at different times, and I think Spitz has just had a kid, and it's everything's coming together now. And I've always been a massive fan. He's always someone who I think could easily play higher level.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, give us your prediction.
Who's playing?
Rangers Motherwell.
Listen, the way Rangers are playing, I think it'll be 3-0 Rangers.
3-0 Rangers.
2-0.
3-0 Rangers, yeah.
Yeah, you going for that as well? Yeah. Wow, there you are, 3 of you together. Okay, Hibs against...
2-1 Motherwell?
No, I'm going 2-0 Rangers. Hibs against Ross County.
Listen, I think, as I said to Ruffy earlier, Hibs have, the last 2 games I've seen Hibs, they've created buckets of chances. They've only scored the 2 against Dundee and 1 against Hearts. They should have scored 7-8 goals in those 2 games. So I think that genuinely think they're due to give somebody a tanking. And I think it might be tomorrow. I think that Ross County, I don't think they're great at the back, Peter. I think they've got a goal in them, the top end of the pitch with Brophy and Murray and guys like that, Jordan White. But
what's a tanking?
I think Hibs will take 4 off them tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go for 4-1 to Hibs because I genuinely think they're playing with a bit of confidence at the minute. I think they took a lot of confidence from that game during the week. The way they played, he's got serious competition for places in the front areas. He's got Eli Johan, who I think is the top scorer this season, on the bench. He's got Adam Lafondra on the bench. You've got Boyle there. Get me a leader, Marcondes. I think they've got a lot of good talent at the top end of the pitch, and I think they're due to give somebody a tank, and I think it might be tomorrow. 4-1 Hibs.
Yeah. Am I getting a draw on that one as well?
No.
Yeah. I've even had the text in from Lennon saying, where are we going for the meal? So a tanking for them. Well, the first thing about Hibs that's come out from that midweek draw is they're seriously looking at the use of pyros. They're not happy with the sectarian singing. And at this moment, they're contemplating, I'm going to get your thoughts on, contemplating cutting the allocation. And I must admit, I I hope that doesn't happen.
There's a couple of things, Peter. Firstly, Hibs are just as bad as other clubs. They seen it during the week. The Hibs away support throwing things onto Long Shankland. It's happened at home games as well.
Yeah.
I can remember, I think it's James Tavernier got to take a corner, and that corner,
Yep.
he was getting pelted with things. So I think, people, in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. I think Hibs need to get their own house in order, Peter, before they start talking about banning away fans. Firstly. Secondly, I don't think they should. I think, we've seen the Old Firm games diluted with no away fans. What an atmosphere at Tynecastle. We've both played in Edinburgh Derbies. Going to Easter Road or going to Tynecastle, running out and seeing a full stand there, away support. What a buzz, what a feeling, and it adds to the colour and atmosphere of the game. But I don't think they should do it for both those reasons. Firstly, get their own house in order, and secondly, it would just dilute the atmosphere, Peter.
I think when we're long gone, Ruffy, I think they'll look back in history. I think they should write down the names of the people who've absolutely killed the Scottish game for fans. On boards, making decisions, so there's no uncertainty. Just write the names down of all the board members who've absolutely killed it. They don't want away supporters at grounds. They come up with all the reasons. Some people don't like it when, certain supporters are there en masse, and if the games don't go their way. It's a nonsense. Write the names down of the board members who cannot understand what a sport is all about.
Yeah, I think some of the clubs have to remember when things weren't going well. When their attendances were down at 8 and 9 and 7, and they welcomed the bigger crowds in, talking about a way back then. But now these teams like Hibs and Hearts and Aberdeen, they're all getting 16, 17, 18,000. So the reason they're getting away with it is they're appeasing their own fans. Their own fans will not be bothering about other fans not getting in. They'll be saying to themselves, that's more of us can get in. But from the spectacle of Scottish football, it is killing it, because it kills the atmosphere of the games, particularly the derby games.
Absolutely. I think somebody needs to take the power out and away from some of these stupid chairmen and chief executives who basically are killing the game. You should get to a situation where you just make a rule, kill off the 11-1 rule. That's the first one, because that allows a dictatorship. But get to a situation where you say, here's the rule, that the away support can get this amount, and make it that. And if they don't sell the amount, do what they do at Hampden. Okay, block 1 sold, block 2 sold. If you don't sell block 3, we'll put a bit of ribbon down it, we'll put the stewards there, and we'll sell it to the home support again.
Yeah, I mean,
force their hand.
Listen, you don't want that in the Edinburgh Derby, because there's no doubt the Glasgow Derby's been diminished by what's happened, and it's not the same. And it's not the same it'll not be the same for the players, and it'll not be the same for the fans.
Yeah.
And it's poor, and you don't want that to happen at any game. The fans not going in, because that's what makes it a good atmosphere. Both sets of fans, not just one set of fans, both sets of fans. And we talked about Tynecastle the other night. If Hibs only have a section, it's not the same.
No, you can't let the minority.
It's not the same. You can't let Easter Road, Hearts having a section. The game's not the same. The atmosphere's not the same.
Yeah, absolutely. I think something needs to be done about it. Of course, Nick Montgomery's probably looking for other matters at the SFE. Will he get an apology for the decision that Tom was talking about with Vargas? It's just one of a number that he thinks has gone against Hibernian.
VAR is there to call the referee over so he doesn't make a mistake. And when he called him over, I looked at it on the monitor, and my opinion is no way it's a penalty, and I don't think anybody else probably thought it was. And then lo and behold, he's got a clear view of it, he can slow it down, he can watch it, and gives a penalty. So again, just really, really disappointed that we don't take 3 points, and that cost us 2 points. Maybe we'll get another apology this week like we did after Aberdeen, maybe we won't. But at the end of the day, what we want, get back his any points.
Yeah, don't hold your breath for that, Nick. It's not coming.
It's handling it well, by the way, because he's right. I think Hibs have been hard done by in the last couple of weeks. I think the Nicky Devlin handball at Aberdeen should have been a penalty, then that's not a penalty. So I think Hibs are due a wee rub of luck with the VAR.
Yeah, okay. Or maybe better decision making when they're calling it.
Either or.
Yeah, absolutely. St Mirren against Aberdeen. Alison McConnell was out there to chat to Stephen Robinson.
Aberdeen manager Neil Warnock insisted that St Mirren would be rubbing their hands with glee at the prospect of facing his insipid Aberdeen side in Paisley on Saturday afternoon. However, Saints manager Stephen Robinson is wary of underestimating the threat from the under-fire Pittodrie side.
Aberdeen have got a lot of good players. You know, Aberdeen are a good side. Yeah, they're in a moment that they're not getting the results that they want at the minute. But if you look through their squad and the money that's been spent on their squad in putting that together, then you know it only takes one moment to cause you a problem. And as I say, I've got total respect for them. There'll be certainly no underestimation on our part.
St Mirren go into the game boosted by the new contract signed by Toyosi Olusanya after St Mirren manager Robinson revealed that he told the player he was in danger of slipping down the leagues over this summer.
We were straight with him. We said, look, you've got 3 months really to be a professional footballer, otherwise you're going to start drifting down the leagues again. That was at the start of the season, and he came back super fit, came back with a really, really good attitude, and realised that he needed to up his levels of intensity, and he's done that.
Yeah, okay, St Mirren against Aberdeen is just incredible, because the St Mirren side with a manager who really has excelled this season, and Aberdeen are just stumbling from one disaster to the next.
He's not just excelled this season. Robbo's done it over a number of years with Motherwell, getting to 2 cup finals. And I was on the show when the Hibs Hearts jobs were up, and he was never interviewed. The Aberdeen jobs come up, and they've taken someone else, which I think was a strange one. He's proven what he's done over the tactically very good, taking smaller clubs and taking them up the league and finishing in the top 6. And I think he's done an unbelievable job all the time he's been up here.
Yeah, Aberdeen in contrast.
I mean, I think they're in the relegation battle, Peter. I mean, people might think I don't see where the next win's coming from. They can't defend. They've seen one of the goals during the week there against St Johnstone's embarrassing at schoolboy football. They're so reliant on Miovski. If he doesn't score, nobody's scoring. And that's not just in the last couple of weeks, that's from January. And they look soft. Graham Shinnie spoke about it after the game last week. We're soft and we need to... I don't think they get a player booked or put a tackle in against St Johnstone. So it's a lot of talk at the minute at Aberdeen. The managers came in to get a bounce, clearly, and he's not getting one. I think some of the foreign boys will look at Neil Warnock and think, who is he? It's just this old guy, and he's getting absolutely nothing out. In my opinion, a pretty talented squad of players. So I think if you're an Aberdeen fan, you're fearing the worst, and you're going to St Mirren, who Rob will just stick it in behind. He'll put you under pressure. He'll put crosses in the box, and Aberdeen don't defend it. They'll go under again tomorrow.
Yeah, of course, Neil Warnock, he's come in for a fair bit of criticism since coming up here and taking over on this short-term contract to the end of the season. He says the Aberdeen goals that they're losing is nothing to do with tactics.
I just think you're always learning about everything in football. I can't remember ever, if I'm honest, conceding goals from nothing really. Mistakes and things like that, which when you look at yourself, could I have done something different? Could I have done this? Could I have done that? And could I have... But the goals we've conceded, I don't think they've been anything to do with tactics. So you've just got to keep your pecker up and try and be positive and hope everything goes well.
Well, has he just got a bad squad?
No, I think Tam touched on it. I think there's some talented players on that side. They don't seem to have the confidence of anybody in the team to grab the game. They've got Miovski up front, but apart from that, they don't have a leader anywhere else. I know you've got Shinnie in there, but apart from that, they're all going about doing their own wee bit, looking for somebody with a wee bit of inspiration, and it's not happening just now. And defensively, obviously, they're leaking bad goals. I think if they would, with the right attitude, not to lose bad goals, I think they might get something out of St Mirren tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I don't mean winning. I think they could get a draw, because I do think they've got some good players on that side.
Yeah, I think they've got a problem where they've never been able to address it, Darren, which is, again, and I hate to say it, the defence. Every manager's known exactly the problem. The back four can't defend.
Yeah, they're a team who are open. They're trying to play, and they're not just now. They're not good enough.
Not a big team either. They're quite small in the middle of the pitch. They're not physically.
Talking about leaders, and Shinnie to an extent he has done well over the course. I'm not saying this season, but over the course he's been a good player and all that. But and we know the expectations of Aberdeen. That's a problem. It doesn't look as though the players are handling it. Because it all goes back to the past. It does with Aberdeen mostly. Goes back to the past, and they've been poor. I mean, St Johnstone, Craig's gone in there, and defensively they're a lot better without a doubt. But Aberdeen losing 2-0 at home to St Johnstone, it really shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you see it going then? I've got St Mirren 2-1.
I fancy St Mirren strongly, Peter. I think Aberdeen are a bit of bother. 2-0 at St Mirren.
I'll go 3-1.
To St Mirren?
To St Mirren only because I think Miovski can always get you a goal.
Yeah. That's...
You going for a draw, Ruffy?
No. I'm going for one each.
You go for one each? No, I love the way Darren...
He makes his mistake this week.
I love the way Darren framed that there, because he's basically said, there's a nice wee compliment, you'll get a goal, but you'll get bumped.
And then Willie Miller's obviously come out this week and been critical of the manager as well, which... He's a big figure up in Aberdeen, as we know, and a big voice up there, and that's not going to help the manager either.
No. Wouldn't you want to be around the board when they're deciding who to get next? I
don't understand why they get
influence there to say, "Oh, Neil Warnock." How does that?
I've no idea why he's up
all
here.
These different people.
I've no idea why he's up here.
Is that a lack of leadership in the boardroom?
Yes.
Yeah, because they're getting it in the neck.
If you're going to sack a manager, surely Barry Robson's under pressure for consistent length of time. Surely you're putting the feelers out to other managers, maybe out of job and stuff like that, to say, right, if we sack him.
Aberdeen can't have an interim manager. Do you know
and a guy at that age as well.
It's too big a club.
Well, the other problem about it now is that they're stuck with it. He's going to have to do something. And I'm looking at that and I'm saying to myself, is there a financial situation where they don't want to pay the compensation and then have to go and try and get the one person that they really want from another club? I don't know, I'm just speculating.
It looks as though is that we just want to survive. That's what it looks. And Aberdeen just
get to the end of the season.
Yeah.
We just want to survive. Now that's wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. If it was me, and I'm looking at their side and I'm thinking who's ideal, they could go and do something in Aberdeen, I think Stephen Robinson is an absolute front runner. Yeah. If they're saying to themselves, well, we don't want to go and try and extract him out of St Mirren, there's a man that sits here every Monday. If they want to actually totally and utterly rummel the place up and get a man who understands what it's like to win, Neil Lennon for me would be another a candidate for it. I'm wondering where else they go, Ruffy, for candidates that could come in and understand the game and change the ethos. Neil Lennon would change the mentality as he did at Hibs. Stephen Robinson, I think, is ideal for it as well.
Well,
have you got a third name?
No, but
Derek McKenzie would do a good job at Aberdeen.
There will be names.
Chase them.
There'll be tons of names.
I know there'll be tons of names, but who comes in?
I mean, yeah, if you're sitting around that board meeting and you're having a discussion and people are throwing their tuppence worth, and usually you've touched on there, what did Neil Lennon do at Hibs? You know, look what he took. Look how he regenerated. The support went up. The way they played went up. The fans all got right behind him.
Andy knows a player.
Yeah, Andy knows a player. But the only
so
thing
Stephen Robinson.
Listen, if you're going to get an interim,
is the Celtic Rangers thing. And unfortunately for Aberdeen, most of the Celtic managers that they've taken have been very good.
Well,
most of them, Big Billy to Roy to.
But most of the managers that they've taken from Celtic and Rangers have won them something.
Yeah.
If you're going to get an interim manager, why not get someone that's a Malky? Knows the Scottish game.
Yeah, listen, Malky's a good shout, you know.
Knows the Scottish game, knows the players, can go in there like Neil Warnock would probably not know any of the players.
Yeah,
you're going in blind and going in training and saying, right, okay, that's your team, possibly having to watch videos of how do they actually play.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So why not, if you're going to do that, why not get someone that knows the Scottish game and is good? Malky's good.
Yeah, good shout, Malky. Would you put him in the list?
Listen, the guys like Malky and Neil Lennon would have been a better shout than Neil Warnock, surely. I mean, whether they'd have taken it on an interim basis, we don't know, but surely in a short term, somebody that knows the league, knows the players, would be a better shout than getting somebody up from England.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Dundee against Kilmarnock. Dundee 1 point ahead of 7th place Hibs. So we've got this situation where we've got a battle in the middle of this league as well, which is where I hear a Neil Doncaster saying, that's why it works, don't fiddle about with it, stick with it.
Yeah, I think the good thing about it is, I mean, just this Kilmarnock in midweek there, if Kilmarnock was in that top 6, at least they're going to add something to the split. Because if Rangers or Celtic have to get into Rugby Park in the split, you know it's not going to be a given that they're going to win it. So that makes it's not all about it's the games that Rangers or Celtic win against each other. If the other teams like Hibs and Hearts, and if it's Kilmarnock or St Mirren, particularly at home, are giving them a game, that'll make it more exciting. But in this game in particular, I always think it's difficult coming back for a hammer. You know, I think it depends on the individuals you've got in the team. 7-1, you know, you've got to lift the players. There's like some young players in that team. I just think Kilmarnock are playing well.
Yeah.
I think they'll go there with confidence.
Yeah, confidence.
To win 2-1.
2-1, I've got that as well. Ruffy, what were you done?
I'll go 2-1. I think it is always difficult getting a team after they've had a battle. I can remember going to Ibrox and losing 7-0. And 3 days later we played with Hibs. And 3 days later we played Hearts. Neil Point scored after 3 minutes. But we actually won 2-1.
Yeah.
So it's a mentality that you've totally kind of embarrassed yourself. They'll have watched the video. I'm sure Doc will have worked on defensively. He's obviously coming up against Dell, so they know each other really well. But I just think the confidence Kilmarnock, and listen, they got beat the other night, Kilmarnock, but Dell will still take confidence from the way his team played.
Yeah.
And they were a bit unlucky, but so I'm going to go 2-1 Kilmarnock.
Who was the manager when you get thumped 7-0?
I think it was Alec.
Yeah, and when Poynton scored for Hearts and you were on the Hibs side, was there a sense of you look around each other and your bottle crashes and you better get a finger out?
Well, 3 minutes, you've just lost 7 and you lose a goal after 3 minutes. I can remember actually running into the net, getting the ball and just having to like get the boys going, and we did. We handled it really well and we won 2-1. We didn't win too many at that time.
Yeah.
But it's all about being brave in taking the ball. I mean, the Dundee players will need to be brave tomorrow, but I just think Kilmarnock will have too much for them.
Yep. Okay. Ruffy, you ever been on? I know you said 2-1. I was just about to say, have you ever been on the end of a battering?
What year?
Right. Okay. Tam.
1 each.
Yeah.
Don't ask me because I've too many doings.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Now this one, I think we think Livingston are gone, so there's no way back. We're just trying to work out who we think is going to be in the playoff place. I think the general feeling, is Ross County for me. What was yours, Ruffy?
It was
St Johnstone before that midweek.
You've got to stay with them, Ruffy.
I don't know.
No. Come on.
I think it's split. How many points are Livingston behind in there?
6.
Now they've gone. But I think when the split comes, the others could maybe test each other out to see who gets that second place.
Yeah, actually 7.
Is it 7 now? Plus, basically 8, because I think there's 7 or 8 goals worse off. But the only reason I'm going to tip St Johnstone for second bottom still is I think that Ross County have got more goals in them.
Yeah, you're sticking with it?
St Johnstone scored 2 during the week, but one of them was gifted.
You have to give.
I don't think St Johnstone have got enough goals in them to stay up. You need people that score goals.
Listen, when they changed the managers, I think it benefited St Johnstone.
Absolutely.
Because they brought in someone, and not being disrespectful to Craig, but defensively he would get them right. You knew he would get them right. Where Ross County got rid of Malky and they brought in Derek, and it totally didn't work. We'll see how Don does. So I think that's why Ross County will be.
Yeah.
I think you've got to give Ross County credit for playing 3 strikers. You know, like Murray and White and Brophy. That could just, when it comes to the split, you know, pay dividends.
I think you'll only be able to do that at certain times.
Against the split teams.
Yeah.
Well, when I was at Dundee under Jim Duffy, we played me, Fabian Caballero and Stevie Lovell.
Yeah.
And we got relegated. So I wouldn't go with 3 strikers.
Well, with all due respect, having watched Caballero, I think it's fair to say you two let the team down. because he was a player and a half. What about Livingston? What's the predicament like? Patrick Mullen was there.
We're at the Tony Macaroni Arena this morning, speaking to David Martindale as his side are preparing to take on St Johnstone. It's another crucial game at the bottom of the Premiership table, and one player in particular that David Martindale is relying on is Tete Yenge. The new striker has scored or assisted in his last 4 appearances, and Martindale was full of praise for his contribution.
Previously to January, we weren't taking our chances. Yes, we've conceded goals, but we weren't taking the chances. January onwards, we've been taking our chances. We've won a couple of games, but also we still need to work on the defensive side. So there is a positives with Tete. I think that's him now on 3 goals. 3 goals for us, 2 in the Premier League, 1 in the Cup. And for a lad that wasn't playing football, for a lad that wasn't playing football, I think that shows testament to his character.
Despite being 7 points adrift at the bottom of the Premiership table, David Martindale still believes his side have more than enough to avoid the drop this season.
I still believe we can do it, but I'm never going to change that mentality. That's never ever going to change. The mental resilience, it's not going to change. If I don't believe, the players will not believe. So up until it's mathematically impossible, if that becomes a situation we need to deal with, I'll deal with it.
It's St Johnstone versus Livingston tomorrow afternoon at McDermott Park, and it kicks off at 3 p.m, and POZ Soccer will be there live, keeping you up to date.
Yeah, well done to Patrick. He always likes a wee payoff just to let everybody know we'll be there. We'll be at all the games. Did you give me your prediction?
1-0 at St Johnstone.
Yeah, yeah.
Terrible game.
Terrible game. Okay, I'm going to go 2-1 St Johnstone. You 2-1.
2-1.
Okay. Couple of things I want to get your thoughts on, lads. Just the predictor. By the way, you two could win it.
Fine, with 2's in the top 10 at the minute.
No, it's absolutely
a straight shootout for me and Ruffy.
Absolutely magnificent, you two.
Aye.
Yeah, a couple of correct scores, that's what you need to get yourself up there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look at that. I mean, it's absolutely
174, 174. We're miles ahead of everybody else.
And by the way, suddenly, I'm looking at the punters who are in this as well. Aurora Borealis, to his credit, has been out in front for a long while now. Or she's been out in front, or he's been out in front. I'm not quite sure of the gender, but nevertheless, they're out in front, and you two are closing in on them. Well done. We're so far behind.
Let's save you a few quid.
Hey? Oh, you could.
Who are you bringing, Ruffy, if you...
I'm just trying to win the monthly one. When's the prizes for the monthly?
Well, you didn't win it.
I didn't think it would have.
No. What about the 2 quick things before we finish? Manchester Derby down south. It's Man City take on Man United at the Etihad. Darren, is that a no-brainer?
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer.
Is that a hammering?
Yes.
Is it a hammering? Well, it could be.
Yeah.
It could be.
Oh, we know it could be. Is it?
No, I'm going to... Well, no, I'll go 2-0 Man City.
2-0 Man City. Ruffy?
3-0 Man City.
6-1 Man City.
What?
6-1.
6-1?
I think Man United are getting away with it in a minute. Lucky to beat Luton, lucky to beat Villa. Beat at home for Fulham. I think Man City get a couple of early goals, they'll thank them.
Okay.
6-1.
Okay, I'll go. I'm going to go 3-1 City. Last point. I hate to finish on a negative, but Paul Pogba failed a drugs test, and he's going to appeal this because he'll be 34 when he comes back if he doesn't win the appeal, Ruffy. And you just watch his demise over the last 4 or 5 years at Manchester United. I just thought he was in the wrong movie. I just didn't see what he was offering.
Yeah, well, it's not the first time a player of that ability, has let himself down personally. Whether it's they just can't handle the limelight that they put themselves under, and if you don't behave yourself properly, you can fall into that circumstance. And unfortunately for him, he looks as if he has.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it. A World Cup winner, and everything now is just...
£100 million, I think Man United paid for him after letting him go for nothing. I think Fergie was right about him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw the other day there, he's the only Man United player to score in a World Cup final.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I was just actually thinking, I was quickly thinking, Bobby Charlton, I'm thinking, no, you're absolutely right, yeah. But, the demise... It's an incredible week. The demise of 2 big players, not only him, but Dani Alves, who's one of the most decorated players in football history, and again, jailed. So it just shows you, the mighty have fallen. One thing I would say to you, on a positive note we're going to finish with, is Charlie Adam is on the first rung of the managerial ladder. We certainly hope he does well at Fleetwood. He was here for a good number of years. We've thoroughly enjoyed him. And if you get a chance, why not look at our YouTube channel and see exactly what Charlie's doing down there at Fleetwood, because Kerry Pollock, Cheryl, AJ and our editor Anne put it all together. It's a Charlie Adam, the next chapter, well worthy of you having a look. It's a great insight into him. And Ruffy, he's got a tough job just trying to keep Fleetwood in that league.
Yeah, I mean, every time somebody from Scotland goes down there, it's the first results you look at, and that's not happening just now. You know, he was winning the other week night, he get beat 2-1, so let's hope we can start winning games and take them up the league.
Yeah, and of course, try and get the best out of players and ask them to do things, maybe not the things that he was capable of, as Kerry brilliantly said to him. What will you do if a player tries to score from 60 yards? Hooked, depending on where the ball ends up. Anyway, thanks to Darren. Great to see him here with us on this Friday show. Watch Charlie Adam, the next chapter, if you get a chance. Kerry's back tomorrow morning with a preview with Ruffy and Tam as well. And we'll be right across all of the games over the weekend. Check out PLZ Soccer's social media and join the football family. Thanks for listening and watching today.